If you know what I know, then you know that teen dramas are back. Hey, it's Allie. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are talking about the new Netflix show Wednesday, based off of Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family. Now, I always say this, but I want to be so serious this time. I know I'm late to the party. Like, this video is coming out like mid-December and this show came out like late November. I know, I'm late to the party. Look, your girl, she was going through some things and I actually wasn't going to watch this show. I saw promotions for it and I wasn't going to watch it. And then my friend was like, it's dark academia. Like, you love dark academia. It's like right up your alley. I think you would like it a lot. And I watched it because I needed something just to watch. I honestly was just gonna put it on in the background. And lo and behold, this show was so good. Like, it pleasantly surprised me on all accounts. So today I want to talk about it and then maybe talk a little bit about the future of like Netflix teen drama shows. So let's get into it. If at any time you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe because I make videos like this all the time. And I've been told that I need to plug my other socials at the beginning of the video as well. So follow me on Instagram if you want to see me talk and rant about shows, movies, all of this, just my life, everything. Tumblr for all things fandom, of course, and I make TikToks as well. You can follow me on Twitter. I just retweet a bunch of stuff, but like, you can follow me on Twitter too. And then comment down below how you feel about the show, how you feel about teen dramas, because we're gonna get into that as well. Like, I feel like teen dramas are really like coming back in like full swing. I feel like there was a good period of like cringy teen dramas, and now we're getting some like good ones. Because when I say the show was corny, I mean it in nothing but a good way. So let's get into it. So Jenna Ortega obviously was one of the biggest draws of the show. Whoever they got to play Wednesday needed to be able to embody Wednesday like wholeheartedly. Wednesday has been such a staple and an icon in pop culture. Everyone knew that like if they were gonna do the show, they needed to do it right. And I feel like from getting Tim Burton like just inspiration, and then also like getting Jenna Ortega, like, she fucking killed this performance. All right, let's just say what it is. She killed this performance absolutely 100%. I don't follow actresses or actors like that like at all, but like I am like a Jenna Ortega stan now. I am, especially since everyone always talks about how she always brings this air of like queerness to her characters. Now I'm like, do I need to check out the Jenna Ortega collection? Is that what I need to do? I don't know, but I feel like she did such a good job playing Wednesday. I'll do a little recap of the story. It follows Wednesday Addams, of course. She is a teenager in this, so they aged her up a little bit so that she can go to high school. And it is mainly focused around her trying to fit in at high school. And this is where the kind of corniness comes in the first time. I say this, Wednesday is in a murder mystery. Everyone else is in a teen drama. Like, that is very much the show, so much to the point where it almost seems like a parody of teen dramas, which I don't like. To this day, I don't know if that's what they were going for or if that just was a happy accident, but it worked out all the same with her being focused on this murder mystery that is going on, which is like, to me, the most important part of the show. It's like the most entertaining part of the show. And then the backdrop of the teen drama was the backdrop. Usually in shows, it's the opposite, especially with teen dramas. It's like the teen drama is the like forefront and then everything else that's going on is the backdrop. And I don't like that. That Sabrina did a really good job. I always say this, like, if you like Sabrina, you'll like this show. For me, it felt like Sabrina's spiritual successor, especially with all of the witches and like supernatural stuff and all that. It really felt like its spiritual successor, and also the comedy and writing also felt like its spiritual successor. But with Sabrina, something that I liked was that the occults and all of that stuff took the front presence and all the teen drama was the backdrop. And I like that because the teen drama was the most boring part of this. I know for some people it was the best part of the show for them. For me, especially with Wednesday, it was the not worst part as in it was the corny part. We talk about the corniness of the show. It was the corny part, but like still in a good way, which I'll get to like all of that in a second. But yeah, so Wednesday is in a murder mystery. She's trying to figure out why these murders are happening, who's the monster, this, that, the third, while everyone else is like, you didn't come to this date with me, you blowing me off for some dude. It's just like, okay, like we have bigger things to worry about. No, like none of the people seem to be as worried about, other than the sheriff. Like no one seemed to be that worried about the fact that there was a murder serial killer monster on the loose. It like really frustrated me at some points, especially when, you know, climax of the show, people started to turn on Wednesday because she was so hyper focused on her like goal and whatever, that she started to like, you know, put her friends in danger, which like we'll get to all that. But it just really kind of frustrated me at some points because it's like, y'all are really, again, I don't know if it was a parody, but it really just felt like y'all are in two different shows. But it worked so well, especially because Wednesday's like personality was so different than everybody else's. But going back to the characters a little bit, I'm not going to go character by character, but characters that stood out to me, Enid, Enid. I did not like her at first. I think because she's supposed to be this extreme opposite, because Wednesday is supposed to be this extreme like gothic stereotype, like in the beginning like of her conception and whatever, she's supposed to be this extreme gothic, you know, stereotype. So Enid is supposed to be this extreme pop girly pop, you know, she girly pop, you know. And at first I really didn't like her, but people have been, I see it now, like I see it now. And even at the end, especially with those two boys, Xavier and Tyler, like people were saying Enid and Wednesday had more chemistry than Tyler and Xavier combined. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those two had more chemistry. And it's not completely off the table for them to become, especially if this is supposed to be Netflix's next big thing and it's supposed to be like ongoing and maybe even semi long running. Definitely I can see like we could get it. We could still get it. We can still get it. And I'm there now. I think because Enid constantly was trying with Wednesday, which brings me to my next semi-point of a lot of people headcanon. Let's talk about the headcanons a little bit. So a lot of people headcanon Enid as trans, which like I do too. Between the hair colors and everything, I don't know. To me, I headcanon that too. I do too. Like if you see it, you see it. If you see it, you see it. And then with Wednesday, a lot of people like either headcanon her as being autistic or somewhere on the spectrum or something like that because of the way that she acts. And a lot of people were getting a little bit of pushback and criticism for it because it was like, oh well, just because she's like I guess weird, which is a weird thing to say, like, oh, just because she's weird doesn't mean she's autistic, which is like, no, not necessarily, but like she was exhibiting symptoms of someone who is neurodivergent, maybe not necessarily on the autism spectrum, but definitely neurodivergent, especially with the hyperfixations, the low empathy, blah blah blah. And people were saying that like, oh well, all their family is like that, which is like, yeah, but Wednesday has her own specific, like, especially with the low empathy and like hyperfixations and stuff like that, like she knows herself as well. Like if this is supposed to be a long-running show, we can't completely take it off the table. And I think it would be really good representation on top of the good representation they already have by making the Addams family Hispanic. Like oh, your mind. Anyway, but regardless of whether or not you see her headcanon her as neurodivergent or not, the reason why people see her as this like neurodivergent headcanon or whatever is a lot of because not just the way that she acts, but the way that people react to her and the way people were so, I don't want to say quick to give up on her, but so quick to try and put her in a box. I know that was like a lot of like what the show was about, of trying to put her in a box, trying to put her in her mother's shadow, this, that, the third. But I feel like really people headcanon her as neurodivergent because a lot of the people around her give up on her pretty quickly. And even though they do that, they try to keep giving her chances. There are some points where I'm like, okay, I get it. Like there's a point in the climax where she does put her own goals above her friends and gets her friends in danger. There's no excuse for that. Whether you're neurodivergent or not, like you can't excuse hurting people, right? Sure. But all these other times, like especially with Xavier, oh my God, this man, like I just didn't like him. I didn't like his character. He was very whiny. And I was also expecting him to do something. Like everybody had their own little moment with their powers. He did nothing. So I was not very happy about that. Also, I don't want to say this because it was a spoiler, but there was a lot of like loose ends with him that wasn't like threaded up, like a lot of answers that just weren't tied up. Like, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense with a lot of him, but I can't say anything without giving away spoilers. Just like, if you know, you know. Like, they kind of left his character at the end, and they kind of pushed his character like comic relief almost at the end, which I was fine with because I didn't like him. But yeah, he, like, the way he treats Wednesday it's very weird. Like, I would almost say, knowing what I know now, I have my notes, and on my notes I was talking about Tyler and how I started to come around to Tyler. But if you know, you know. Again, no spoilers, but if you know, you know. But at least Tyler was giving her a chance and meeting her on her level. I feel like Xavier was never meeting her on her level, which really, like, it just didn't sit right with me every time he tried to talk to her, and he would get so frustrated with her so easily. And it's like, bro, like, you are not meeting her on her level of like social interaction and understanding or anything like that. It was weird. Enid though did, and even the whole thing, like, with Enid, like, spoiler, it's a fucking teen drama. They have a little fight and they break up as friends for like 5 seconds and then they get back together as friends. Like, it's a teen drama. It happens in teen dramas. That's not really a spoiler. But even when that happened, like, Enid, like, rightly so, had every right to leave, but she still was meeting Wednesday on her level. And I felt like that is probably why they have more chemistry than like Xavier and her, because like she understands Wednesday. She actually takes the time to get to know Wednesday and understands her and tries to be on her level. Anytime she was trying to extend her friendship, she like did it in a way that was at her level with her interest in mind, which was like really important, is even just for friendship in general. So to like, for Xavier to just like skip over that part, I usually don't like the love interests in teen dramas anyway, and this just reminded me why. So finally, I want to touch on the camp versus corny stuff. I think corny with intention and corny with a little bit of like self-understanding is camp. I want to do a whole video one day talking about like camp stuff, like campiness within TV shows and movies, specifically like cartoons and stuff, especially more like recent cartoons have been really leaning into the camp stuff. I highly suggest, if you're into Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I highly suggest you watch this video talking about like the LGBT coding within Rise, and they talk about camp. The person who made that talks about camp in that video, and it just really got me thinking, especially as I was watching the show, like camp versus corny, because that show is obviously a kid's show, so a lot of the campiness can be written off as like, oh, the show is for kids, of course it's going to be absurd and whatever. But there's like a level to it that is like beyond just absurd for the sake of absurd, that is like clearly meant to be like campy. And they get into like the history of like LGBT camp and like all that stuff, and I really want to like take that and apply it to like other shows and mediums, because I feel like there's a reason certain shows are popular with the LGBTs. That's what I'm saying. And obviously there are some very obvious like scenes in the show that like have to do, that are very camp instead of corny. It like rides that line between camp and corny. And obviously one of the main ones is Wednesday, the dance scene when she was dancing. I remember seeing clips of that before I even got to that episode. It's camp. Like, girl, it's camp. Like, come on now. It's just this level of absurdity that shouldn't work, but does. I think also with the way people reacted in the scene to her doing that dance, I think is also what, you know, sends it between camp and corny. It is seen as something that is like really cool. Like, she's doing something really cool. The way she is dancing, everyone's kind of like mesmerized by it. They're like, oh damn, like this girl can dance, yeah. And it's like any other circumstance, like in real life, you would see that and like the person would probably get clowned, unfortunately. But when you really stop to look at it, girl was busting a move. She was busting a fucking move. And because everyone in there was like, yeah, like getting it, yeah, it becomes camp instead of corny, if that makes sense. Like everyone is in on it and everyone understands. Like everyone has this aesthetic and this like feeling. That's camp. Even Enid, like Enid and Wednesday's like rooms, camp. The crypt picnic, again, I talk about like meeting her on her level. The crypt picnic, camp. Them watching Legally Blonde, camp. Thing, the hand, like just Thing in general, the hand, that was camp. That was camp as well. Especially practical effect, by the way. That was crazy. Practical effects for Thing also, I don't know, it just added to the campiness of the nature. The fact that it wasn't all CGI, that it was like mostly practical effects. Love that. Every single outfit, no matter what, every single outfit, especially the girls' outfits in this, Enid's outfits, Wednesday's outfits, of course. Like that episode towards the end of the show where she was in that like Uncle Fester came and they were in that little dog moped thing. that was camp. Absolutely camp. It's something that should not work, right? It should not work, and yet it does. It's something that is so like unneeded too. Like if you really thought about it, in any other TV show this would not work, because they were just going from point A to point B. And yet, like, the fact that they were going from point A to point B in this, and she was doing her little hand movements and whatever, like, it was camp. It was so, it fit so perfectly. It was absurd, but like not for the sake of being absurd. It was like, if you get it, you get it. Like, honest to God, like, camp is just one of those things. If you get it, you get it. And even when I make my video, I'm not gonna try to over explain camp, because it's truly just if you get it, you get it. As for the whole mystery of this, wrapping this up, the mystery I thought was actually really good. I feel like there was a lot of red herrings. Like the who done it was kind of obvious, but it also was so many different red herrings. I was like, wait, it could actually be you, but wait, it could actually be you, but wait, it could actually be you. And I think that really played up into the twists and turns towards the end of the show. So if you're looking for a good like murder mystery, like who done it, I'd highly suggest this show, especially like the teen drama aspect. If you're not trying to get into like the deep shit that they be on Netflix and stuff, I'm not that deep, but I need some corniness in my life, okay? Which again, teen dramas, a little bit corny, but I love them. So I would highly suggest this show. The twist was pretty good. I like how it all came together in the end. I feel like because there was a lot of twist and turn and a lot of red herrings, like I said, there was a lot kind of left like untied, but there is going to be a second season. They already greenlit a second season. It left kind of already on a cliffhanger. So there will be a second season, which I am excited to see. Also, the ending, no, like, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but not really. Wednesday gets a phone at the end of the show. Like, Xavier gives her a phone because he's like, oh, you welcome to the 21st century, Addams. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. I do not like him. Anyway, and as she's leaving and she's in the car and she's leaving, she gets 2 text messages saying like, I see you or whatever. And then they get a picture of her with Tyler and then a picture of her with Xavier. And then it was like, and then it sends this like little like gif of a knife being thrown through her head. And then that's how it ends. Like, tell me that doesn't give Pretty Little Liars. Like, I was laughing so loud because I was like, oh my God, this is turning into Pretty Little Liars, which I loved. I love Pretty Little Liars. Whenever I tell people I like Pretty Little Liars, like, you look at my bookshelves, it's all anime and shit. People just don't understand. But I was a teen once. I was a teen child once watching CW shows and, you know, Teen Nick shows. Okay, I loved Pretty Little Liars just as much as the next person. So that ending was just so reminiscent of Pretty Little Liars. And if that's what we get, because I know that like Pretty Little Liars like reboot show wasn't that good apparently. So if we actually get like a Pretty Little Liars but Wednesday Addams Supernatural, I will be so happy. I will be so happy. It's just camp, girl. It's camp. But lastly, I want to give a shout out to my boy Eugene. I almost forgot. I need to give him a shout out. He is such a good character. And him controlling the little bees at the end, he's such a good character. He's such a good character. Yes. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. That's all I got. I was pleasantly surprised about this show, like completely pleasantly surprised. I was not expecting to go in it and like it as much as I did. You know what I mean? This is shaping up. People are talking about this being Netflix's next big thing. If they plan this right, especially considering Netflix's history of like the types of shows that they put out, like that they, not even that they put out, but like they prop up in the marketing and money that goes into these shows. You never see a show that has this much like alt things going on, like the fact that it's dark academia, the fact that it's more gothic, the main character being so different than most other main characters in Netflix like teen drama shows. So if this like continues on, which already season 2, like I said, it's been gaslit greenlit, when this continues on and if they're really trying to like put money into this and make it the next big Stranger Things, Bridgerton, etc., I'm here for it. I'm ready. I haven't really been into a Netflix show like that, especially Netflix shows that get propped up the way the live action Netflix shows propped up, which also another thing, if you look at my like my last couple of videos, my last like 10-20 videos, none of them have been live action unless you count Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Like, I haven't watched a good live action show in a very long time. Like, I think the last one I watched was like Heartstopper. No way. That I made a video about. Well, I guess Euphoria technically counts. But anyway, the point is, a live action show hasn't like made me like this happy in a very long time. So I'm very satisfied with this, and I feel like it's going somewhere, and I really hope it does go somewhere. I hope they don't just, you know, hit it and quit it as Netflix tends to do. So, and because of that, there's so much like diversity that they can add on to here that I think is really well. I didn't talk about Old Girl because she was giving very much like teen drama stuff. Like she was in the teen drama. I want more from her because she has the best powers, but like everything about her was just teen drama, teen drama, teen drama. Like, I like that she's the queen bee, and I hope her and Wednesday become friends because that duo, yeah, absolutely. But her entire storyline was just teen drama this entire time. So it just, it was like giving, I'm gonna get you a spin-off show. Like, if this goes somewhere, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets a spin-off show, which usually never do well. So, but I hope she gets more within the show that she is in, you know, especially with the supernatural stuff. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I liked the show a lot. I highly recommend it, especially if you're like me and you don't really watch live action shows that often. This is definitely a good show to watch if you want to dip your toes into live action more. You can reach me at all my social medias down below. Upcoming, I have, what do I have? I don't even know. I have my talking about animated canceled TV shows. Sonic, I hear really good things about Sonic. It's not out yet, but I hear really good things about it so far. So that's it, and that's the end of the year. Oh my god, I hope you're having a great month of December. And all my socials are down below. Like I said, come talk to me, be in the comments. Let's start a conversation in the comments. I respond to all of my comments. Like, you can go look at my videos. I respond to like 99% of my comments. So let's start a conversation, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.